Hi everyone, thank you for being here. Today we are talking about letting go of attachment in 3 steps to get to it today. Attachment holds us to things that don't matter. We're attached to outcomes, we're attached to things, we're attached to locations, to our cars, to our jobs, to ideas that aren't us. We are trying to offload who we are onto these things to prove to ourselves that we're worthy of the life that we're living, of the success that we have, and all of these things are representations of us, and they are not actually who we are, and our attachment to this is continuing to keep us stuck. Because if you need a trophy or a car or a job to represent who you are to the rest of the world, when that thing gets taken away, you end up in a place of a loss of identity. And I've been through this. I've lost jobs. I've had to change locations. I've lived in many different places. I've traveled all over. And every time there was a deep shift in how I had to identify myself to myself because I had overemphasized any one of these things. And of course, we look into these things as having value and a representation of ourselves because we spend so much time doing it, which is the first thing that we have to realize is, what are we spending our time on? What are we spending our life on? And all the time and money that you spend is literal currency of your life. And what is it all adding up to? You have to decide that your life is worth more than any one of these things, but only you get to decide that. So what does your life look like? What value are you searching for? What value are you offhanding to tools that aren't actually you? Your car isn't you, your house isn't you, your job isn't you, your clothes aren't you. They're representations of parts of your life, but they aren't who you are as a whole. And if we don't know who we are outside of these things, when these things shift or end, they take a lot of who we are with them. And when I lost my job at the beginning of the year of last year, I actually lost 2 jobs within a few months of each other. It was a difficult time for me because I had invested so much into a job that I thought was going to be a fulfillment of me and a representation of my abilities and my value and all of this. But when it came down to it and it wasn't seen that way, that my value actually amounted to nothing to them, I had to realize like, whoa, maybe I'm worth a lot more than something I do multiple hours a day, and that maybe that thing needs to actually represent who I am a little bit more, and I need to find value in other places. It's why I started writing more and reading again and trying to understand who I am separate from a corporate job, a income that was coming in. My value to the world, to myself, was a lot more than the best and the worst moments of my life, and that I was going to be okay because I was now building my identity separate from something that someone else gave me. And that is the other part that we have to start paying attention to, is we're attaching ourselves to things outside of ourselves that we can't control. When we are focused on the validation from a job, when we're focused on increasing our money from other people's point of view, like the value that they've assigned us, and we start conflating that with who we are, we start to believe other people more than we believe ourselves. And that is why a majority of the journals that I've written over the past 5 years has been from the future me to past me, or from the current me to the future me. And there was many times where I wrote, I wish I could go back in time and tell the person that I was 5 years ago that everything was going to be okay. But because I cannot, I'm going to the future me and telling that person reading this, that version of me reading this right now, that everything is going to be okay. And everything was okay. I moved to another state. I got another job. I transitioned into a completely new chapter in my life. And it was a chapter that was in the process for a while, but losing a job really did force that to the foreground to make me decide, what do I want next? And though I am happy that I am here where I am now, there is parts of me that wants to move forward with that power back in my own hands, that the next chapter I go into is because I chose it and not because it was forced onto me to be made. And of course, if you are a person who is actively working to achieve things or to make things happen, you are feeling these pressures all the time where you have to make things happen and you have to decide, and outside forces are making you do that too. But wouldn't it be a lot easier if our attachment to the world was within us? That we were attached to who we are and what purpose we serve, much more than what car we drive, what clothes we wear, and who the people we are surrounded with are. Who are you? And that was what was being asked of me when I was moving, when I had to find another job. Who am I and what do I offer the world? And how am I showing up for myself and the world around me? And it's not only through this job or being a daughter or being a friend or a partner or any of these things. Who am I to myself? And when that gets put into question, you have to start pushing back on everyone around you. I had to decide, you know what? No, they did not determine my value. I determined my value, and no one else gets to tell me what it is or what it isn't. And attaching to validation and beliefs that other people have, guilt, shame, all of these other emotions that we've talked about was not serving me to become a better version of me or to understand who I am. I am more than the hardest things I've gone through, and I am more than the best memories I've had so far, and I'm more than all of those things combined. Words cannot be put into place of the life that I have lived. No one else will ever fully understand it. Therefore, I have to enjoy it more than anyone else. And if you can guess, if this job didn't like me, I also did not like this job a whole lot. So I had to come to terms that I was not enjoying the things that I was doing the majority of the day. And now you might be saying, well, I still have to go to work even if I don't like it. That is very true, and that does not mean that the next place that I went to is significantly better, but it is my approach to it and what I am choosing to see out of it that matters more. That what I attach meaning to is what is going to be there. That reality is only understood through what I apply to it, and that no one else actually gets to define it. So there's plenty of things that we can do, but we have to first evaluate what is it that we're doing all the time and why. And we can be going into step number 2. Blocks are all around us. There's people constantly telling us who we should be, who we shouldn't be. Why are we doing this? What can we do for them? How can we make their lives easier? And if people are going to use your time, it is because you are allowing it. And you might be thinking, but I have to show up for this person, or I have to help out my parents, or I have to do certain things. But you ultimately are choosing to do it. No one's actually making you get into the car, go to the job, log into that meeting, go to that grocery store, eat that food. You have to be a participant in this decision. So these people who are these blocks, they're actually you allowing them to be there. If somebody is not serving you, if their behavior towards you is not beneficial to you, and you continue to interact with them, you are choosing to allow this person into your life, and that is on you. You have to decide to move forward, to let go, and to be fully aware of why people are acting this way towards you. And it's going to boil down to you've allowed it. You've attached a meaning to them that far outweighs what they're actually bringing to you. And that meaning is what is keeping you there. So you get to shift the meaning. You get to detach all of this emotion that you've always handed to them and look at it from this point of view like, you know what? I actually don't like this behavior. I don't like how you're showing up for me or not showing up for me, and I don't want to participate anymore. Being detached doesn't mean that you own nothing. It means that nothing owns you. So where are you handing off your power? Who are these blocks that you've allowed into your life? And understand that the power lies within you. You get to choose if this person gets to ask of you your time anymore, because it's your life. So you decide what's going to happen next and what's not, because no one is in charge of your time or responsible for your life the way that you are. No one else has that ability, and you're the only one who has that opportunity to create the life that you want. So what are you going to do with the one life that you have? How are you going to live unattached to these beliefs, these traditions, these circumstances that everyone else is telling you have value? If you don't think that they do, you don't have to follow them, because you're the only one who has to deal with the consequences of any of those decisions. So whoever is showing up for you or not showing up for you, you get to decide what that means. And if it means anything or nothing at all, that is only up to you. Everyone else is trying to figure this life out too, and we all only lived it as much as we have. Everyone else is also living this life for the first time. They don't actually know what you're supposed to be doing or if their path is the right way or not. And a lot of people don't even like their own paths. So you don't have to feel like you need to do what they're doing so that they have company in the life that they don't like. That's not your job. Your job is to figure out what your purpose is and move forward through it. Accept it. Do everything you can as much as you can today so that you can live out that truth for you. And then tomorrow, do a little more, because you have to take back your time. You're not going to find it. No one's going to hand it to you. You have to take your time back and say, enough is enough. If you don't like the task you have to do at work, do it as much as you need to and then leave it at work. You are not being paid to work every single hour or think about it every single hour. I know I've complained about work constantly and none of that time was paid, and it wasn't investing into a better me. All the time I spent being upset that certain things weren't done, that I had to do it instead of others, it wasn't moving me forward. And that time I cannot get back. But what I can do from here on out is choose not to do it. When those things come up, I can choose a different path. And that brings us to step number 3. What can we do today to stop engaging in this behavior of attaching to what everyone else is saying as if it matters so much? You decide what you do. And what you decide to do is what you have practiced. If you've complained a lot, if you have shown up angry, if you have eaten the same foods for a long time, you have practiced these behaviors, and what you practice is what you're going to do. But you can pick up any practice you want. You just have to decide that you're going to do it and actively make different choices. You don't have to keep eating the same foods. You don't have to buy the same foods at the supermarket. You can find new recipes. You can go to a different gym. You can start moving. You can go for a walk. All of these exist for you. You just have to decide that that's what you're going to do now, that this is who you are. Who are you going to be? Are you going to be a person who is in love with their life, who is excited to show up every single day, who moves their body not because they hate their body, but because they love their body and they deserve to live in a body that is healthy and full of life? Which life do you deserve, and which one are you going to pursue, and how are you going to do it? You have to decide that the life that you have right now is worth more than what anybody else has ever said to you, what anybody is telling you you need to do, what you have done before, and what you thought you should have done before. None of that matters. It's in the past. No amount of thinking about it is going to change it, and every time you do think about it, you change the memory every single time. So you're being held captive by a past that doesn't even exist, so just let it go. Decide that your life is worth more today and pursue it. So what is one thing you can do next week to start embracing this, to start moving towards this new you? How can you do one less thing that you did last week that is more aligned with who you want to be? Write it out. Who am I? Who do I want to be, and who am I not? I am exactly where I am today because of decisions I've been making my entire life up until now. The next version of me, the next version of you, is going to be brought to life through the choices you make now. How can you put more intention into those decisions? And how can you add a behavior next week that is different from last week, that's more aligned to who you want to be? And how can you remove a behavior that you've done for a long time that is not who you want to be? And this doesn't have to be a drastic change. It could be you don't drink as much water as you want to, so next week you want to drink more water. Drink an extra bottle of water a day, and next week starts today. Whatever day it is today that you're watching, today is the start of next week, the next chapter, the next life that you want to live, because every single day is another opportunity to become the greatest version of ourselves. Because if not now, then when? When are you going to find the time to live a better life? It's not going to magically appear. You have to take it back. You have to realize that every single person is living their life and you have to live yours. Don't get to 30 years from now and realize, you know what, I wish I just listened to myself. Do it today. Do whatever you can today to stop hearing the noise of everyone else. Detach from the things that have been holding you in the same place. Stuck is no longer a part of who you are if you choose to see it that way. Figure out what makes you happy and do that way more than all the things you've practiced that make you upset or sad or any of the other bad emotions, difficult emotions, important emotions, but difficult, and the ones that you no longer want to practice. Which life do you want to live? Go and practice that. I hope you got something out of the 7-week chakra journey. We're going to continue with the 5 freedoms starting next week, but I am excited to see where you go. This life is yours, and you have every right and responsibility to live it exactly how you want to. I hope to see you soon. Have an amazing week.